Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons and Dragons Online. Again, we're accompanied by our guildmate Lancer, or Wolf, as he's on this character here. So the quest giver for this one here is Mirok Thriceborn. They are located in the sands of Manactarum at Zwabi's Refuge. You can get here by the airship, or you can port in from the marketplace towards the northern section near the House Beneath entrance there. Once here, you want to talk to Mirok. Mirok. And we're going to pick up the quest for the Chamber of Raiyum, also known as the Wizard King. So this quest actually has a really nice epic level variant to it, which does have a couple of changes. I probably won't be releasing a second video specifically for that quest, as the quest itself carries on the same, it just has a different enemy. So in the epic version, every now and then it can spawn in wraiths, which are actually fairly hard hitting. Now, it tends to spawn them in the longer you're in the dungeon. So if you're real quick about going through them, you might not actually even see these wraiths at all. For the heroic version, which is obviously what we will be doing, as we are only level 14, you don't come across that specific enemy. Everything else about the quest is identical, other than, of course, the level difference. Alright. So here we are. So there's our quest entrance right there. It is the biggest of the 3 pyramids out here.
This impressive structure houses the
And
tomb
here we
of
go.
the Wizard
Now this
King.
quest is fairly long. It does kind of have a couple of shortcuts, but for the most part it just gets sped up by having your party split up, going in there are 3 different towers that you want to clear in order for the large amount of experience. Obviously with a party that is able to split up, that would go by a lot faster. Alright. So we will be doing all 3 towers just to show you guys the amount of experience that you can get out of this quest. And it is definitely a lot. It is a great at-level quest. I tend to run this every life just for the amount of experience that is available in one location. But it is a little bit of a longer quest due to the fact that, well, lots of XP typically means lots of time spent. Alright, so for this first room, to both the north and south sides of the room, you are going to have small groups of gnolls and hyenas. You want to make sure you take them all out. It does keep a total left in the room, so just that way you want to kill them all. Alright, once you get most of them, it does look like I might be missing one. You're going to want to make your way up top and kill the rest of them. Now, at that point, you would be able to open up the chest and place in the crest, but we missed an enemy. So he's hiding one of these little alcoves here. There he is.
The gnolls are no longer a threat. Hurry, for the Wizard King awaits.
Now, one thing I do want to point out when you are doing epic version of this quest, on super rare occasions, I've actually had it only happen twice. This here chest can actually drop the the seals, and yeah, I think it's the scrolls. I think it's either the seal or the shard, whichever part normally drops from this quest. But that chest can actually contain them. Alright. So at that point, now once we've placed the crest in, it opens up on both the north and the southern doors. Now I'm not going to clear that room just yet, as we are going to make our way around and head to there. So the way that this is typically gone through is each tower is assigned a base, much like they do in baseball. So this is first base, second base, third base, leaving center here as the home plate. So this would be first base or tower 1. Over here would be second base, tower 2. And then finally over here would be third base or tower 3. So we're just going to start and we're going to work our way around. Now inside these rooms, when you get to these staircases, if you look at just atop the first row of stairs, how it's got those 2 stone faces, they can actually be trapped shooting acid jets. It's an easy way to check it, and simply it is run to the end here. If they activate, obviously it's an acid jet. If they don't activate, you're safe. And your objective in each tower is just to make your way up top. So there are a couple of various rooms that we got to go through. I do want to point out, when you pull these levers in a small room like that, sometimes the door will shut you in, leaving you inside with 1, maybe 2 enemies, and essentially you have to kill them to proceed. Now for this room, there is 2 possible traps that can spawn in. First one being, well, they're both blade traps, but the first blade trap spawns in on the ramp here, and the box for that is just around the corner right here. The second blade trap, if it spawns, is actually towards the top here. Just kill off these guys here. And this one actually spawns on this sarcophagus right here. So again, neither one were up, so we don't gotta worry. Another big way to earn XP in here is to defeat these Eternal Guardian, the Eternal Gatekeepers. Those are the mummies like this that are lying down right there. As you approach, they are going to get up. And that's that. Makes it super simple, super easy. As you can see from the amount of XP that we're going to get, you get another 2,100 XP just for killing all 7 of them, which we have to run past unless you're just essentially skipping and running to the end of the quest, which is typically hard to do as the end room moves. You don't know which tower it's going to be in until you go about halfway up the tower. Then there is a way to check, which I will show you how to do. Alright, so when you get to rooms that have some skeletons sitting in an obvious trapped room, you would be not wrong. Now the floors here are breakaway floors. The easy way is to remain on the sides. Here we go. Jumping straight across to the corner. Now the other way, of course, is to head around the other side. This one's a little bit more of a jump here. On top of that, as you see, there are enemies that spawn underneath. Now here's where it gets a little difficult. Oh, it is letting you shoot through it now. Okay, that is new. So yeah, it never actually let you attack them from up top here. Rather, it would stop your attacks from penetrating. I wonder when they changed that. Oh, okay, so yeah, you're learning it right as I am here. That definitely makes it easier to go through and get these breakables and the like while doing these. Alright, so here we are. Jump across. And again, same thing. Breakaway floor. But you don't always know when and where it's going to happen, so it's always safe to just not take those chances. Now, once you get to the end here, the levers in these rooms here can be trapped, so definitely just check to make sure before. As well, when you approach and it spawns in the enemies, it will lock you in here as well, so if you're the only one in here, good luck. Now at the back of the room, so each tower is going to have a room like this where you got to pull the lever, and it's going to have a stone tablet at the back. What you want to do is actually click on the stone tablet. Now at the top of the very, very top here, so it says the Tale of Hami the Jackal. So the tower we're in is Hami's tower. This is not the Wizard King's tower. So if you are looking to just rush to the end, you would then stop at this point and head out. Because we are wanting to do the full run, obviously we're not going to do that. Alright, so with this part here, I do want to point out, if you do happen to fall, as you see there's a lever right on that wall, there's a lever on the other wall. So most of these rooms have 2 levers to pull. So you got to make sure you pull them both, and then you'll be able to exit out the side there. At that point, you got to make your way back up and around, and continue that way. So it definitely is not beneficial to be falling, unless you absolutely happen to get caught on that breakaway floor. Alright, so again, similar room like we had before, 2 possible traps, one at the bottom, one up top. Not really running into a lot of traps yet. In fact, I haven't run into any. But we will definitely get there. Alright, again, small room, so the door might close. One guy, kill him, door opens, move on. Alright, so from here we're going to want to continue heading up the tower. Always up the tower. So at this point here, here's another trap. When you see a kind of a longer hall with sarcophagus like this specifically here, there is a trap. As well, we're getting the notification of the traps. We can kind of see them, but not really. The trap box itself is in the center. So if you kind of jump past and run into the center. You're going to get the blades. You do have enough time to get the trap box as long as you are quick before they make their way to the center. So they're going to spawn on the outside edge, slowly head in, and then they'll head back out. At that point, that's it. I do believe those ones are one-offs, but again, it's best not to take the risk and just have a friendly trapper go ahead and clear that for you. So here we are. As you see, the traps have gone off. So the safest way to get up is to actually just hop up and over. Alright, so again we have our gatekeeper. And man, is my voice cracking. Gonna have to drink some water here in a minute. Alright, so the other bit here is along this back wall, sometimes they are trapped. Now, if it is trapped, the trap box will be towards the exit. So it would have been right here. And all they are is a couple of spikes that come out from the back wall. Really easily avoidable. Typically they spawn in when there are archers on the back wall. Alright, so moving in, we come across the Jinn room. Now, each tower has a different Jinn. Or, in the case of Tower 2, so Tower 1 and Tower 3 have a Jinn. Tower 2 has an Ifrit. Now, if you have done the other two chambers, you would have gotten the Seal of Soul and the Seal of Heavens. Again, these are from the two other quests, so the Tomb of the Astrologer and those ones. You were actually able to use those tokens to just talk to the guy. So you're seeking the Burial Chamber. You can either challenge him, which is a fight, or you can hold up the seal, which frees them immediately. It still gives you the experience for killing him. So whether you chose to fight him or free him with the medallion, you get the same amount of experience. And once he's either defeated or freed, go ahead and grab your loot. And then you want to head into the end room here. So if this was the very end quest, like the correct one, then we would be able to head into the end room there. However, due to the fact that it is not, what happens is after you fight him, as you see, the floors collapse and it sends you all the way down, which is actually where we're wanting to go, as we don't have Dimension Door. So if you have Dimension Door, try to fight it in the center. If you don't have Dimension Door, you're going to want to head all the way to the bottom. Now at the bottom, there are a couple of rooms. So you can either head towards the center or towards the exterior. If you head towards the center, it is blocked by like a rainbow barrier and a rune, which are intelligence runes. Inside, it will have a bunch of shrines. Ooh, and a random chest. Okay. So, this does not happen often. This chest here can actually spawn anywhere on the bottom layer, so anywhere on the outer ring, and in it, it has a seal of fire. This is actually the seal used to free yourself from the second tower. Now, typically speaking, you don't run across these. Most people don't farm the bottom. In fact, even myself, I don't farm the bottom. It's kind of a, if you get it, awesome. Save it for your next run. But typically speaking, you don't run into them. So that's the inner layer. We do want to come here again once we've killed all 3 towers, and it gives us another optional here. So in the meantime, we're going to want to head to the outer ring. Now, there are 3 exits to the outer ring, so you can go north, south, or west. East leads into the loot room, which is what we'll do at the very, very end. Now, the outer ring here, you want to kind of go to the same one every time, so we pick north. Reason being, it does have a few enemies and a few, as you see, lock-in areas. So it is just easier and time-consuming, or time-saving, sorry, if you pick the same one every time. That way, each time you go that path, you don't have to re-kill and, you know, go through that hassle. It's just, it's already there, and away you go. Alright, so once you got that, you're going to want to head back again to the starting room here. And again, there are 2 more sets of shrines for a total of 4 sets. So definitely a lot of shrines that you can use, so don't feel bad about having to stop by and use one. Alright, so now we're going to head on to our next set. So again, we have a trap. Same thing. Blade traps slowly make their way in. Grab the trap at the center, and away you go. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult, and again, where it adds that little extra flavor to these quests. There are floors like this that may be a breakaway floor. So as you see, it does drop it down. But you don't know whether it's going to break the whole floor, half the floor, if it's not going to break at all. There is one way to tell, is once you start walking on it, if it is going to break, it will pop up with the message stating, like, you feel stones crumble as you walk. Like, basically it gives you a warning message. And when you receive that, it's either going to be half the floor or the whole floor. Alright, so for these types of room, when you enter, again, sometimes it'll close the doors to lock you in. When it does that, it'll open up the side walls here and here, which will have a golem on either side. So you're kind of locked in a small room with them. So yeah, here we go. There's that message here. So we're going to give it a try. Typically, when you get that, you want to send 1 person at a time. So I'll take a look. Alright, so if you run down the center, that's usually your safest bet. That way, if it is half a floor, you know, you got a good chance of making it on whatever half didn't break. Alright. Now, somewhere on one of the sides, so because we didn't get it on our way to the second one here, which here's second tower, that means probably on our, once we're heading to our 3rd tower, we're going to come across the floor that completely breaks. Now, there is a trick to kind of get around it, but it does require haste and a fairly high jump. Now, at this level, that's sometimes a little bit difficult to achieve, but in epics, it's definitely a lot easier to do. Alright, so here we go. Got our lever. And we're moving on. So now that we're in Tower 2, it's again same protocol as Tower 1. You just want to keep heading up until we get to the very top, and in this one it's going to be the Ifrit instead of the Jinn there. Alright. So yeah, as you can see, definitely a really long quest. But if you have a good group who are able to split up and, each person takes a side, it really speeds along a quest. For this one here, what we're doing is we are sticking together. That way we can show you the full spectrum of the quest itself. Alright, so here we are. There's that trap that's going to be along the back wall. As you see, just a couple of spikes, nothing that's super difficult to avoid. Again, our breakaway floors that we just kind of want to hug the outside wall. So yeah, as you can tell, a whole lot of repetition in this quest. Alright, so you approach the lever. It's going to create whatever is in the room to come alive or spawn in, and our door closes on us. So again, I want to pull the lever, and then we're going to use the stone tablet. So this one is Hafez the Lion. So Tower 2, we have Hafez. So we now know Wiz King is Tower 3. Now, a typical practice in this one is when you are doing this quest and you do split up, you'll call out when you have the Wizard King. You don't necessarily got to call out for, the other two, Hami or Hafez, because ultimately no one cares. Yeah, it's extra experience for sure, but it's not quest required. Creeper. So people will call out the location of the end boss, and what they'll do is they'll either clear up to him and then wait for the whole party, or they will just finish, depending on what the party is doing. Typically speaking, they will run the whole thing, as XP is really nice. And in epic quests, this is actually considered one of the daily to run quests, just for the amount of XP that you can get out of it. Another thing to point out for epics, especially for TRing purposes, in order to TR, you are required to have 20, you need a heart of wood, and in order to get said heart of wood required for TRing, you can either purchase it directly from the DDO store, or you can farm out quests like this one here, which are able to drop tokens. Now, this quest, as you can see, is a little bit longer. At the end of the quest, if you are doing it on Epic Elite or, Reaper in Epic, you will get 2 full tokens. If, however, you are not doing it on that, you can get 1 token or 1 and a bit token. So there is a way to get less than a single token, which is to get the token fragments. 100 fragments creates 1 token. Now, certain quests will only drop about 20 fragments if you do it on normal. So it is good if you're able to, obviously, to hit the hardest difficulty you can to get those epic tokens, as well as they are more experience. Again, this only applies if you are running it in epics. If we're running it in heroics like we are now, the tokens and all that do not apply. All that changes is the amount of experience that you are awarded. Alright, so again, here's our guy. So, typically speaking, this is the one that everyone ends up fighting. He's honestly the easiest of the 3, as I'm sure you're well aware with normal Jin. They have that invulnerable, like, air elemental form, whereas the Freet do not. So this guy here, hold up the seal, dead. Chest. So super easy, and I mean if you can happen to run across it while you're doing it, hey, all the better. Alright. Now again, same thing as before. It's going to spawn out of the center. If you're fighting on the center, you'll be able to stay on the platform. If you have D-Door, that's where you typically D-Door from. But we don't have D-Door, so down we go. Now, because we are on the farthest side here, again, rather than running all the way around the outside, we're going to head inside and then work our way north to head back around following the footsteps that we had followed last time. So here we are north. And to head out north here as well. Now, one thing you will have to be careful of, even though we didn't get the closing door there, you can still get the ghouls and roaming. They do slowly make their way around the entire outside edge, so just watch yourself there. Alright. So this time here, we are going to head south, rather than having to run all the way around to get here. It is faster. Again, this is all dependent on whether or not we actually have that full breakaway floor. But we will definitely find out. So yeah, when you get to these rooms, as you can see, we can actually see shadows already inside of the sarcophagus. If you see the shadows, it means the trap is not up and that they're mummies instead. All you gotta do is hit any one of the ones that have a shadow. It'll spawn them in, super easy. Alright, so here we go. So yeah, here it's saying that it's crumbling stone again. So this is most likely going to be a full broken floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go first. Now, the trick to get across this is you need to have max jump. Which unfortunately, just due to Wolf's class, they aren't able to actually reach that. So even if this is the full breakaway floor and I am able to make it, we will hop down and then go around. That way we can go as a team here. So the floor here. So what you want to do, if it is, you want to just head out and hop on either one of these pillars. Doesn't matter. And you're going to want to run and jump. So again, you want as much speed and as high a jump as possible. And if you do it correctly, even so, the floor only broke halfway, so it doesn't really matter for us here. But if it had broken the whole floor with enough speed and the jump, you are able to jump all the way across and actually grab the edge, pulling yourself up, saving yourself having to run all the way around. Though, honestly, our next floor coming up might actually be that breakaway floor anyway. So, we will still see. Biggest annoyance with those guys is that cursed hit. Alright, so again, we're not getting a notification saying the floor is crumbling, so we actually should be good. So again, looking carefully, we can see that back one has a shadow, as well as this one here, so we can shoot them. There they open up, so we don't actually have trap on this sun again. And then here we are, right here. So the trap might have actually been along the way, kind of where that Plague Reaper was, where the whole floor breaks on you. Again, don't know where it is, but typically one of the halls has that fully breakaway floor. But luckily, we didn't have to deal with it. Alright. So don't worry guys, I know, super boring, but we're on our third tower now. And again, same as before. Want to just keep heading up until we reach the top. So it's going to have the same types of setups, same types of traps, and of course, same types of enemies. Now, as you're going through, the choice to get your breakables, again, that does come down to each individual party. Typically speaking, it is a little bit difficult to get the full breakable bonus in this quest. As you see, we are just reaching Mischief, already onto the third tower. Now, the reason for that is very, very time consuming due to the fact that these rooms here, so this is a breakaway floor right here, as is the next room. Now, at the bottom of each of these rooms, there are the sarcophagi that line the walls. So if we kind of, it's not going to let us peek, but yeah, it's not going to let us see them, but they are there lining the walls. You got to hop down each and every one of them. It does make it a little bit easier now that we can actually see up top here, like so. and actually fire down below. So we are able to much easier grab those breakables there. Oh, and this one does have a trap. Alright, so does seem that Lancer has fallen. So yeah, all he needs to do is pull the 2 levers there. So there's one on that side, one on the exact opposite wall there. And that will open up the door. Then he's got to run all the way up and around, and this is why it's not practical to do that. So thanks thanks Lancer for actually going through and showing that for them. Just to show, like, as you can see, it does take a little bit of time to get back. Not a whole lot of time, but a little bit of time to actually make your way back up and around. So having to stop and do that at each of these rooms, you can definitely see how that would add up. Alright, so we'll go ahead and grab our trap box here. And here we are. So again, we got our stone tablet, though we know it's the Wiz King. Here we are. So the Wiz King, it won't actually say Wiz King. It will say on the note, "Here lies the Wizard King," and at the very top it will say Raiyum. So that's how you know which one is which. And then from here, just make our way out. Or rather, continue heading up to make our way out. Another thing to point out here is the traps that do spawn in this quest. They are actually semi-random. There's the blades. Sometimes you'll get runs where each and every one of these walkways up are trapped and have spinning blades, and then you don't get none of those acid jets on the stairs, or every stair is acid jet, and like this one didn't really see any of the blades. It all depends on the run itself, so I do like that randomization feature. Definitely keeps you on your toes, keeps you guessing, and you know, for a game this old, you do need something to keep you guessing, because I mean, as much as I love this game, after a while every game does become old. But you know what, I'm gonna be here until this game dies. Alright. So get one more of those breakaway floors. Now, typically speaking, when you enter these rooms and you see a corner is already broken, typically speaking, you can generally run down the center. However, that's not a guarantee. I've gotten cocky like that a few times and have had it break out from underneath me. It can happen, so if you're not wanting to risk it, don't risk it. Just walk around the edge. Play it safe, kind of thing. Alright, so here we go. So as you can see, we've actually already gotten all the gatekeepers for the optional. However, there's still more. So just watch yourself, as they do have extras. Alright, so again, we are at the end here. Now, without clearing out the bottom, without doing all that, we were able to get to Vandal. And by all that, I do mean the outer ring on the very, very bottom. As well as those extra rooms without dropping down. We were able to get to Vandal. So, still a bonus of 10% XP. Which is still better than nothing. Even if you're only able to get that mischief bonus, it's still bonus experience. Alright, so here is the final one. Now, much like the others, it looks identical. On Epic, if you linger in here too long, again, spawning in those wraiths. So you typically want to kill the Wiz King as fast as possible. Now, once he dies, unlike the others, this floor will never break. It does, however, open up the back, leading to the phylactery and a chest. Now, only one person has to pick up the phylactery, and in doing so, it will give the phylactery to all members of the group. So here's our offering of blood. Here's the phylactery. You need both of those and a third item, which we'll get from another quest there, in order to get into start flagging for the raid. Now, once you grab your loot, you don't want to actually recall just yet. We still have the room in the center. Now, for heroic, it's not as important, as it does just contain some random loot, one of which being the rune arm there, Hand of Tomes, and which is a fairly nice, fairly low level rune arm. And one of the few rune arms which are actually able to be sold on the auction house. So if you're looking for one, make sure you check there. Yeah. So as you can see, long run. So as I was saying, on heroic, all that's really there is that little bonus of the rune arm. However, on epic, this is actually where it's going to contain your epic chests. So we got this open. We got a shortcut down to the bottom. Might as well just hop in and take it. Alright, there we are. So we're heading to the center. And here we are. So now that flame barrier is down, we have an optional to find a way in, which is simply just kill all the boss at the end of each tower. And there we are. Stepping in gives you that extra bonus XP. And as you can see, 3 loot chests. And that's it. At this point, all you need to do is to finish out, recall back to town, and turn in your quest. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a pretty long one there, and I do apologize. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one all.